Hello, dear students. How are you? It's fantastic. Yes, sir. Let us start the new chapter today. That is chapter number 3 and it's capital budgeting. Right on. Chapter number 3 and capital budgeting. Capital budgeting. You also write on capital budgeting. In today's class, I will try to, discuss the entire concept of this chapter. Actually, capital budgeting has been given in chapter 3 also and chapter 4 also. But in chapter 4, in continuation of this chapter, it's given the techniques of capital budgeting. Techniques of capital budgeting. If you will go through chapter 3 in details, only then you will be in a position to do the chapter 4, that is techniques of capital budgeting. So actually chapter 3 and chapter 4 together makes it possible to have the entire concepts of what? Capital budgeting. If any one of them you are weak in, you cannot complete the concepts of what? Capital budgeting. You cannot entirely grab the concepts of capital budgeting. To have the concepts entirely, you have to go through chapter 3 and chapter 4 in totality, not partly. So right now I'm focusing on what? Chapter 3. But every time in the class I'm telling to the students that chapter 3 and chapter 4 cannot be separated. Both are together. Rather, chapter 3 is complementing the chapter 4. Chapter 4 is possible only after doing chapter 3 properly. So chapter 3 is called what? This is called introduction. Introduction of capital budgeting. On the basis of this introduction, you will do what? Chapter 4, that is techniques of capital budgeting. I will try to discuss entire concepts relating to the capital budgeting in today's class only. See here, what does the capital budgeting actually mean? In local language, I will tell you, if you want to do any business, you need machinery, isn't it? If you want to do any business, you need what? Machinery. And the machinery cost, suppose, is 10 lakh. Suppose is 10 lakh. If you want to do business, you need machinery. Suppose machinery cost is 10 lakh. There is two possibility. One is you are purchasing totally new machinery. Second is you are replacing the old machinery by new machinery. There is two possibility. You are purchasing the new machinery and you are replacing the old machinery by the new machinery. You understand that? There can be two situations possible. One situation is what? You are purchasing new machinery. There is no old machinery existing right now. There is no old machinery. There is no old machinery. You are replacing the old machinery by the new machinery. Second situation I am talking about. So this is two possibilities. Purchasing any machinery or other fixed assets, you may call it capital assets also. Listen, These are the assets which are very costly, long lasting, and helps the business in production. Understand? These are the assets which helps the business in production, long lasting and very costly. So decision of purchasing this machinery cannot be taken overnight. You understand that? Decisions of purchasing these machinery, these assets cannot be taken overnight. Have you understood? Tell me. Yes, sir. The decision of purchasing these type of machineries cannot be taken overnight. You will need some time. You will give 100 thoughts before taking decisions. You will think this way, you will think that way, you will think various way before taking decisions, before finalizing the decisions, before coming onto the conclusions of any particular assets. You will give 1,100 thoughts on that. Then you will take decisions. Because if you take any wrong decisions here now, it will hamper your business in long run. Because the cost of these machineries are not rupees 1 rupees 2 rupees or 100 and 1000. It's costly lakhs, crores. Understand? So giving various thoughts on these machinery before purchasing it, before finalization of the purchase of this machinery, that thoughts is called what? Capital budgeting. Actually, when you purchase the machinery, then there is no budgeting possible now. Budgeting is possible before purchase of machinery. You understand what I mean to say? Suppose that you want to purchase a new car. Before purchasing new car, you go on social media, you go on various platforms, you call various showrooms and try to have different kind of informations regarding the car. And after that you finalize 1 2 3 4 5 cars, and then finally you finalize what? Any one of the car. But once you go to the showroom and purchase the car, after purchasing the car, your other thoughts are what? Irrelevant. Then pondering any thoughts is irrelevant. Whatever you want to think of, whatever you want to decide of, right? Do the research of, you can do before purchasing the car. Once you purchase the car, once you took the decisions and purchase the car, after that, thinking anything regarding the car, whether your decision is right or wrong, is irrelevant, right? So before finalizing the car, whatever the research you are doing, whatever the calculations you are doing, all those calculations together called what? Capital budgeting. Understand? So I will ask you one question, then I will move forward. Tell me, I am doing capital budgeting after purchase of assets or before purchase of assets? Tell me, before purchase of assets. Capital budgeting means what? Helps in deciding, in taking decisions. Helps in taking decisions. Whether to purchase particular assets or not. Capital budgeting helps you in taking decisions whether to purchase particular assets or not. Right? How can we do the capital budgeting? See here. First of all, tell me, if you are purchasing any assets, you can, take the decisions by dividing all the calculations in 3 parts. Capital budgeting is done in 3 parts. I'm writing CV is done in 3 parts. First part is this. That is what? Initial cash outflow. You want to purchase, you want to find out initial cash outflow. You want to pay attention on these calculations first. What are the initial cash outflow when we're going to purchase any assets like machinery? Tell me, what is the initial cash outflow? First of all is what? Original cost. I'm taking an example here. Suppose that the original cost is rupees 10 lakh. Then you will add in the original cost, installation expenses, because merely purchase of assets is not going to do what? Your service. You need installation of that machinery also. Suppose installation expenses is what? 1 lakh. After this, the total cost becomes what? 11 lakh. Not only that, you need what? You need to what? Increase in working capital. Increase in working capital. Understand that? Increase in working capital. Increase in working capital, you may also write here additional working capital. Is the same thing. You can ask me, sir, what is this? Please explain here. Listen here. If you are purchasing any assets now, with the assets you also need the maintenance expenditure. Suppose you have bicycle and your friend has the car. Bicycle maintenance expenditure and car maintenance expenditure is what? Have got the huge difference. So for that maintenance expenditure you also need working capital, and that working capital is called also what? Additional working capital here. Why? Because we are purchasing these assets, and because of these assets what amount of working capital required more. Suppose that you have original working capital of rupees 2 lakhs. Now for this machinery you want the working capital what? 1 lakh more. So I am not talking about this working capital 2 lakh. I am talking about this additional working capital, because this additional working capital is needed just to serve what? The new machinery. You understand that? Yes, sir. Tell me, you understood? Yes, sir. After that, I am repeating again. Original cost of machinery was 10 lakh. Then you pay what? Installation expense 1 lakh. It becomes 11 lakh. Suppose the additional working capital is also what? 1 lakh. Now it becomes 12 lakh. Initially, this much amount of cash will go out of your pocket to purchase these assets. This is the first case I am talking about. First case I am talking about. First case. So far I discussed the first case. But if I discuss the first case right now and then second case later on, it will consume more time. So what I am doing, I will grab this opportunity to discuss the first and second case simultaneously together. So what is the second case? Second case is that suppose you are replacing the old machinery by the new machinery. If you are purchasing only new machinery, please pay attention again. If you are purchasing only new machinery, then original cost of machinery 10 lakh over. Installation 1 lakh over. Increase in working capital 1 lakh over. And together total or what? 12 lakh over. But if your intention is not to purchase new machinery, rather you have to replace the old machinery. So two things will go on simultaneously as well. What is that? That you will sell the old machinery and you will deduct the amount from here. Minus what? Minus salvage value of old machinery. Salvage value of old machinery. So what does this mean? Suppose you had earlier old machinery of what? 5 lakh rupees. And their value now after some years, their value becomes what? Suppose their value becomes 50,000. If you will sell these assets in the market, you will get 50,000 rupees. So this value is called what? Salvage value. Whatever your expectation when you will sell the old machinery in the market. Got that? Why I am deducting here? Because these are the value where the cash is going out. Here the cash is going out. Outflow, outflow, outflow. But this is the case where the cash is what? Coming in. This is the case where the cash is coming in. So 50,000 will be deducted from here. Because 12 lakh rupees you paid someone, but you also get back what? 50,000 by selling your old machinery. isn't it? Tell me. Yes, sir. So finally, how much money has gone out of pocket? That is cash outflow. Is that 11 lakh 50,000? But this is not the end of the story. One point more here. What is that? If you are selling the machinery na, or old assets na, you may have the loss or gain. I'm writing here. Loss or gain. Gain on the sale of old assets. Loss or gain on the sale of old assets. If you want to sell the old assets, you will get the loss or gain. You may have the loss or you may have the gain. Right. If there is a loss, on that loss, you will have the tax saving. Tax saving means what? If you have the loss, you can reduce your tax liability, isn't it? If there is a reduction in tax liability, it means this is your savings. And you will deduct from here minus tax savings on the capital loss. On the capital loss. On the capital loss by selling the old assets. Tax saving on the capital loss by selling the old assets. This is tax saving. And tax saving is what? A kind of inflow. The money is coming in. Suppose that tax saving is 25,000. So now it becomes what? 11 lakh 25,000. But there is also possibility. What could possible now? There is also possibility that you will have gain on sale of assets. If there is a gain, then you will have to pay the tax on that. Tax paid on that. Tax paid on the capital gain. Tax paid on capital gain. But the loss or gain cannot go hand in hand. Any one of them will take place. Loss or gain. So this is optional. This is optional. Either loss or gain. So if there is a loss, I'm writing here or. I'm writing here or. If there is a gain, then it will be added here. Tax paid on the capital gain by selling the old assets. I'm writing here or here or optional here. You know why? Because capital gain or capital loss, either capital gain will take place or the capital loss will take place. Both cannot happen simultaneously. You understand that? Either there is a capital loss or there is what? Capital gain. If there is a capital loss, then there is a tax saving. And tax saving is a kind of cash inflow. It's a minus here. If there is what? Tax paid, and then on tax paid, it's a cash outflow. It will be added here. I will not move forward until you will answer the questions. Tell me, if you are selling the old machinery, I'm asking few questions. If you are selling the old machinery, in this example, how much cash you are getting by selling the old machinery? Tell me. The example before you right now on the screen. If you are selling the old machinery, how much cash actually you are going to receive by selling the old machinery? Here in this example, sir, we're going to receive what? 50,000 rupees. 50,000 rupees. This 50,000 rupees is your inflow or outflow? Tell me, this is your inflow or outflow? This is inflow. So inflow will be what? Minus from the outflow. Inflow will be minus from the outflow. Listen here. I can have the 2-3 classes on the same topic only. But what I'm doing, I'm describing everything in one class only. I'm saving your timing. But don't worry. In one class also, so many times I will repeat. I will do some questions based on these. So you will definitely have the concept properly. But I think it's not useful to spend 3-4 hours on the same topic. Rather, save the time and less time, have the more output. You understand? If you are selling the machinery, you are getting 50,000 rupees. This is your inflow. Inflow will be deducted from the outflow as I have rightly done here. Isn't it? Now, what is the possibility on the sale of machinery? There is a possibility of capital gain. There is a possibility of capital loss. Tell me, isn't it? Isn't the possibility of capital loss? Isn't the possibility of capital gain? Any one of them? Yes, sir. Suppose that in first instance there is a possibility of what? Capital loss. If there is a capital loss, your net profit will be what? Less. And on the capital loss, you will have the tax saving. And tax saving means less payment of tax to the government. And it is a kind of what? Inflow. Means suppose you are not paying more cash to the government, it means you are saving the cash. Right now, you cash in your pocket only. This is a kind of what? Inflow. So inflow again will be what? Deducted from the outflow. I have done rightly here and hopefully I understood. Sorry, I feel that you understood. Yes, sir. Second case could be possible here. If there is a capital gain, then you have to pay the tax on that. Tax payment is outflow or inflow? Tell me. Outflow. So outflow will be added in the outflow because this is outflow, na? See above. This is outflow. Outflow will be added in the outflow. Now, if I am talking about the sale of old machinery, along with the yes. Yeah. Money is going out from the business. Money is going out from the business. Listen, suppose that 10 lakh rupees is going from your pocket, or 1 lakh rupees is coming into your pocket. So actually, how much money is going out? 9 lakhs. So we deducting now. Cash flow and outflow, cash outflow and cash inflow will always have what? Always will have I will have the deducting effect, na? You'll have to minus that. Understand? What are you getting the impression that this is a cash outflow means this is itself a minus. As something coming in, this is a plus. But you want to actually find the net effect of cash outflow. Okay? Okay, sir. Now, suppose that I am talking about the purchase of machinery as well as the sale of old machinery. What is this case? This is the case of purchase of new machinery or the case of replacement of old machinery? Tell me. I'm repeating again. Suppose that there is one case I'm purchasing new machinery. Other case I'm purchasing new machinery as well as I'm selling the old machinery. So purchase of new machinery and sale of old machinery is the case called what? Is the case called replacement or purchase of new machinery? Right, this is the replacement of new machinery. Replacement. You know why? Because one hand I am purchasing the new machinery, on the other hand I am selling the old machinery. This situation is called what? Replacement of old machinery by new machinery. You understood? Suppose there is a case that I am purchasing only new machinery. I am not talking about the old machinery. I am purchasing only new machinery. There is no replacement possible. I am purchasing only new machinery. Then what are the cases you will remove from here? In that case, you will not write these points here. It will not be available here. Salvage value of old machinery will not be here. Tax saving will not be here. Tax gain will not be here. Because I am not talking about the sale of old machinery. I am talking about only the purchase of new machinery. You understood? Okay. Finally, I will move forward. But before that, I would like to have the entire format together from your side. You have to narrate the entire format again. Tell me, initial cash outflow is comprised of what? Original cost, one thing, added by original cost added by installation expenses added by increase in working capital. You understand the meaning of that? I gave you the example of cycle and car. Cycle need less working capital, car need what? More working capital. Similarly, all this together is what? 12 lakh. If there is no replacement, then 12 lakh is final, no problem at all. But if there is replacement, then we have to sell the old machinery. So minus what? Minus salvage value of old machinery. Minus what? Tax saving on the capital loss, or plus what? Tax paid on the capital gain. And this will finally give you what? This will finally give you what? It will finally give you initial cash outflow. It will finally give you initial cash outflow. Hope you understood so far. You can ask me, sir, why have you not written anything here? I cannot write anything here. You know why? Because I already wrote where 25,000 in the case of tax savings. If I will write 25,000 here now, then we have to remove the 25,000 from here, because any one thing is possible. So I'm going for what? Tax saving in this example. Understood? Now if anything left to understand, you will do along with the questions I will do in the practical sessions now, then you will understand that. Now I'm talking about the second step. I told you that capital budgeting can be done with the help of what? 3 steps. And first step, 3 parts. The first part is what? This initial cash outflow. Now I'm talking about what? Second part of that. Write on your second part. Second part is subsequent cash inflow. Subsequent annual cash inflow. Subsequent annual cash inflow. What is this, sir? Why are you purchasing machinery? You are purchasing machinery just to do the manufacturing. After manufacturing, you will sell the goods, and after selling the goods, you will receive the money. And goods will be manufactured every year, and goods will be sold also every year. Rather, for coming 5, 6, and 10 years, it depends on the life of machinery. Suppose that machinery life is 5 years. So till 5 years, every year you will make the production, and every year you will sell the goods, isn't it? During the sale of goods, you will receive the money, and during the production of goods, you will make some expenditures as well. So annual subsequent cash inflow, that is called subsequent annual cash inflow. First of all, you understand what I'm going to do now. That after purchasing of machinery, that is initial cash outflow, we are going to use the machinery for the purpose of production, and after doing the productions, we're going to sell the goods. After selling the goods, we will receive the money. This is how we will calculate every year how much money actually we're going to receive. Understand? And that is called subsequent annual cash inflow. Suppose that I'm taking the case of 5 years. This is year 1. This is year 2. This is year 3. This is year 4. This is year 5. Any problem? Tell me. No, sir. What could be possible in the case of subsequent annual cash inflow? First is what? Suppose that number of units sold is given to you. Number of units sold is given. Number of units sold is given. Selling price is also given. Number of units sold multiply by selling price, what you can get? You can get what? Total sales. You can get total sales. Total sales what? Number of units, suppose that is given to you n, a selling price. So this is n minus selling price. And sorry, n multiplied by selling price. N multiplied by selling price, you can get what? Total sales. Total sales will be deducted by variable cost. During the course of business, it is not always possible that you will always receive the money. Rather, it's also possible you have to make some expenditure in the cost of what? In the name of what? Variable expenditures. Variable expenditures. Sir, what is the meaning of variable expenditure here? Suppose that you're making the goods, you need raw material, you need the labor cost, you need other operating costs. All those costs together called what? Variable cost. So these variable costs will be deducted from here. Deducting the variable cost from the sales, deducting the variable cost from the sales, you will get what? You will get, you may call it contribution. You can call it what? Contribution. I'm not writing the contribution here because contribution word is not used now. It's basically describing the management accounting. So I don't want to confuse you here. Right. After getting this deduction, yes, tell me. You will multiply number of units sold multiply by selling price, you will get the total sales. Multiply, na? Suppose 1000 units you are selling and per unit cost is 10 rupees. So what is the sales you getting? 10,000 rupees. I think you're getting confused. I think number of units means what? How many units you are selling? And the selling price means what? Per unit selling price. Selling price, this is per unit. Multiplying this together, you will get total sales. Got that? And I suppose that n is what? N is number of unit. And a total sale is n into selling price. I think you just hanged. Your RAM is not working properly right now. You take coffee or tea. It's very easy. Here. Suppose that 1000 units you are selling and per unit selling price is 10 rupees. Tell me what is the total sales? 10,000. Okay? Got it, got it. It's not a matter of concept, it's a matter of hanging. It's a matter of RAM got, overused up. I think you are using your RAM more than it should be used. Take rest little bit also. Anyway, so total sales minus variable cost. This is what? And after that, you will have to minus what? Minus depreciation. Minus depreciation. Finally, after deducting the depreciation, finally what you will get? Finally, you will get profit before tax. This is called profit before tax. And profit before tax. In short, you may call it PBT. Got it? From PBT, you will deduct what? Tax. Tax rate will be given to you. Tax rate will be given to you. Tax rate will be given to you. Minus tax. Suppose that whatever the tax rate is given, I don't know, it will be dependent on the question itself. Tax rate given. After minus tax, you will get PAT. That is called profit after tax. In the profit after tax, you will add back the depreciation. First of all, you complete the format, then I will describe again. You will add back what? You will add back depreciation. After adding back depreciation, you will finally get what? Cash inflow. You will finally get annual cash inflow. annual cash inflow. You will finally get annual cash inflow. Understood? Tell me. But you can ask me, sir, if you have to add back the depreciation now, then why have you deducted the depreciation in first place? If you have to deduct the depreciation, sorry, if you have to add back the depreciation, then why have you deducted depreciation in first place? We have deducted the depreciation in first place because we have to get what? Profit before tax. And we want PBT should be less. Why PBT should be less? Because we want tax should be less. So to grab the benefit, tax benefit, I'm sorry, to grab tax benefit, we want to deduct the depreciations. To avail the tax benefit, we want to deduct depreciation so that my profit will be reduced and my tax will be reduced. Understand? Right. If I would not have deducted depreciations here, my PBT would have been more and my tax would have been what? Also more. So just to get the tax benefit, we deducted depreciation, my profit has been reduced and tax liability also has been reduced. Then the second question arises, why have you added back the depreciation? Since depreciation is a non-cash expenditure, you understand the meaning of non-cash expenditure? Listen, suppose that you have a car of rupees 10 lakh rupees. Understand? You have a car of 10 lakh rupees. After 1 year, the value of car becomes what? Only 8 lakh. So how much the depreciation there? 2 lakhs. I'm asking again. You have the car valuing 10 lakh. After 1 year, its value become 8 lakh. So value has been gone down by 2 lakh rupees. That 2 lakh is called depreciation. But have you made any expenditure out of your pocket with the name of depreciation? Have you made any cash payment out of your pocket with the name of any depreciation? No. It's only, you know what? It's only mathematical calculations. It's only the valuation of the old assets. Depreciation is always called non-cash expenditures. You can write down anywhere. Depreciation is always called non-cash expenditures. It's a kind of provision. It's a kind of appropriation. Right? We do the provision of depreciation just to purchase the new machinery on the right time. Actually, we never lose the cash out of my pocket with the name of depreciation. So depreciation is always called non-cash. So we have to add back here. Suppose that in your home there is a servant also, and the servant you paying 20,000 rupees per month. Annually you are paying 2,40,000 rupees. In this case, you have to pay the money in cash. Here the cash is going out of your pocket. So this salary is always called what? Cash expenditure. If you're paying someone to outside, this is cash expenditure. Salary is also expenditure, depreciation is also expenditure. The difference is what? Salary has to be paid in cash, but depreciation is a kind of provision, need not to be paid in cash and never paid in cash. कभी cash में pay किया ही नहीं जाता है. Understand that? That is why depreciation is non-cash expenditure. Depreciation has been added back because basically we want to find out the cash inflow. So all those expenditures which are not taking place in cash, if deducted earlier, has to be added back. Understood? I'm repeating in one sentence now. We deducted the depreciation here because depreciation is a kind of expenditure, and we have to deduct all sort of expenditures, all kind of expenditure, so that we can take the tax benefit. But lastly, we have to add it back because depreciation is a kind of non-cash expenditure. Here we are finding out the cash movements, cash inflow, so we have to ultimately add back the depreciations. I hope you understood now. Understand? This is your final calculation of annual cash inflow. Final calculation. But this calculation is final only if you are talking about the purchase of new machinery. This calculation is final if you are talking about the purchase of new machinery. But if you are talking about the replacement of old machinery, then this is not final. You have to minus also here. Annual cash inflow from old machinery. Why, sir? I'm repeating, don't worry. Suppose that annual cash inflow from new machinery is suppose 5 lakh. You will be extremely happy, sir. We are getting 5 lakh rupees annual cash inflow after purchasing the new machinery. Then I will tell you, before this machinery, which machinery you were using? Sir, I had the old machinery. And what were you getting actually then? Sir, we were getting only 3 lakh rupees annually. Then I will tell you, you should not be happy about the 5 lakh rupees. You should be happy about only 2 lakh rupees. Because one hand, because of purchase of new machinery, you're going to get what? 5 lakh rupees annual cash inflow. On the other hand, because of sale of old machinery, you're going to lose what? 3 lakh rupees annually. So ultimately, we should be happy about what additional cash inflow we are getting, isn't it? Tell me. Yes, sir. So if this is the case of what? Replacement, we always have to take care of deducting the annual cash inflow from old machinery. Only then we can finalize. So this 2 lakh is called what? This 2 lakh is called additional cash inflow. This 2 lakh is called additional cash inflow. This 2 lakh is called additional cash inflow. I took the example of year 1 only. Similarly, you can complete with the year 2 and then year 3 and so on. In the case of outflow also, we calculated additional cash outflow. I'm sorry. This is what? This is additional cash outflow. How much cash is actually going out? But we never use the word additional here. Just for the sake of making you understand, I use this. Otherwise, this is called what? Cash outflow. I'm asking one question because the time is over now. That question is what? Suppose that from new machinery, you are receiving 5 lakh rupees annually. But because of old machinery, you were receiving 3 lakh rupees annually. So what is the annual increment here? 2 lakh rupees. In the case of replacement, you just not want to find out the inflow because of new machinery, rather you want to find out the annual increment in the inflow, additional cash inflow. And this is possible only by annual cash inflow by new machinery. This is new machinery. Minus annual cash inflow by old machinery. Only then you can finally get the additional cash inflow. And lastly, the next point is that is what? Third step now. Step 3. And step 3 is terminal cash flow. Terminal cash inflow. Terminal cash inflow. What is the meaning of this terminal cash inflow, sir? Terminal cash inflow means when the new machinery becomes older after 5 years, after that we have to sell it out. And whatever we were expecting to receive after selling the old machinery after 5 years, that is called what? Salvage value of new machinery after 5 years. Salvage value of new machinery after 5 years. Then it will be deducted by minus, you know what? Minus is what? There is a tax paid on capital gain oblique plus tax saving on capital loss. This is your inflow now. This is inflow. Inflow means tax paid is going to reduce your inflow and tax saving is going to increase your inflow. Then you will add by working capital release. And finally, you will get what? Terminal cash inflow. But I have not paid the much discussions on the terminal cash inflow because of the want of time. Next class, we of course will start from here only. Step 3. In the meanwhile, you go through this and try to do 1 and 2 questions, very small questions by yourself, and just mug up this, just say, assimilate and absorb this concept in your mind, so that in the next class I can move forward, right? Take care. God bless you all. See you tomorrow at the same time.